Let's get through some of the goals then. There were 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. Fede Valverde with a nice combination with Benzema, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And it showcased the athleticism of Federico Valverde and the new era of midfield play in the world, not only for Real Madrid, but across the world. When that play started and that ball is being played at wide to Nacho and Benzema drops off the center backs, and none of the center backs for Barcelona actually go with Benzema, so he's allowed to turn and run with the ball. The moment that Benzema has the ball on his feet, Federico Valverde and Sergio Busquets are even. Maybe Valverde is slightly ahead of Busquets. By the time he decides to make that running behind Federico, Valverde gets not only behind, in this case, Piqué, who got himself out of position, was neither with Benzema nor staying with the runner, but Sergio Busquets had no chance of staying with Fede Valverde. And at that point, you just saw, okay, here's a kid that can move, that can cover the ground, that has that long stride, that has that change of pace, that change of speed, and that athleticism that Sergio Busquets no longer has, and that really probably never had over the course of his career, but certainly now in an advanced age and at a point in his career where you just see very clearly that he cannot keep up. Valverde goes forward, he wins the space and finishes very well to the far post where Sergio Busquets is still trying to chase him down.
Lots of critics out for Sergio Busquets after this game. Is it fair?
It is fair. And not only is it that instance in particular, specifically where Valverde just runs by him and runs by Piqué, and there's criticism to be handed out to both Piqué and Busquets in that particular sequence. But when you think of the best years of Barcelona, it's a team that would control the game through the midfield. And the clear picture that we saw today from both Real Madrid and Barcelona is that there was very little control through the midfield. It's a game that became back and forth, that became entertaining, that became stretched, that became frenetic in terms of the pace. But that's because neither team was able to control the midfield. And if you're going to have Sergio Busquets out on the field, it's because he is going to be your outlet through the midfield. He is going to be the guy who distributes play. If indeed he's going to be bypassed, or if indeed he's not going to be able to control the ball alongside Frenkie de Jong, then what is the purpose of having this double pivot that Ronald Koeman has been talking about and saying, well, this is important for us and we're just going to have this cover for Busquets and Frenkie de Jong will support him. Well, if neither one of them, in particular Sergio Busquets, is not controlling the ball or controlling the rhythm of the game through the midfield, then what is the purpose of Busquets being on the field at all?
On a more positive note for Barcelona, young Ansu Fati, with another accolade to his name, a goal in El Clasico. It's hard to believe with what he's achieved already, Ali, and what we're seeing from him. He's just 17 years old.
And what I like about Ansu Fati is that whereas we have seen players in the past that in moments like this, they're always searching for Lionel Messi. They're always looking for Messi to be the guy with the answers. Ansu Fati, rightly or wrongly, when he gets the ball, he's not always looking for Messi. If he feels that he can take a player on, he goes and takes him on. If he thinks that the shot is the best opportunity available to him, that's what he does. And we saw a sequence there in the second half in which the ball gets played out to Ansu Fati. He decides to go for the shot himself. Messi's a little upset, kind of throw his arms up in the air, thinking that he should have gotten the ball back. Maybe, maybe not. But the personality of Ansu Fati tells me, you know what, this kid just simply belongs, and the moment is not too big for him, and you see him comfortably running with the ball, running without the ball, creating space for himself, creating space for others. And you can make the argument that some of the most dangerous movements from Barcelona came because of Ansu Fati and because of his ability to stretch the field and because how dangerous he can be once he gets those legs going. I like Ansu Fati a lot, and once again, I thought he was very good on the game, but it got to the point to where, while he was good, on the other half, not so great for Barcelona.
What did you make of Sergino Dest playing El Clasico, becoming the first US player to play in a game between Barcelona and Real Madrid?
You wouldn't know that this was the first Clasico for Sergino Dest. You wouldn't know that this was him making his sort of big appearance for Barcelona in this sort of moment, in this sort of stage. He was comfortable. He was calm. He was running around in that right-hand side. He had a big responsibility in having to somehow deal with the pace of Mendy getting forward and somehow having to deal with whoever threw himself on the left-hand side, whether that was Vinicius or sometimes Benzema drifting out into wider areas. I thought he was very good, actually. Sergino Dest When you look at what Barcelona was today, he was one of the high points for me, and really telling a clear story that this kid may just be the answer for you in the right back position, and that you don't have to play Sergio Roberto out wide in those areas because he is more of a midfielder than a right back, that you actually have yourself a player that could potentially, as the years go forward, be the guy and be the answer for that right back position for years to come.
Going back to Real Madrid and to the goals, it was Sergio Ramos's penalty that then put Real Madrid ahead again. Was it a penalty?
Yeah, no doubt about it. 100% a penalty. And look, people may say, well, he held his shirt, he pulled it, but it wasn't that big of a pull. Well, that's not the point. The point is that you cannot be pulling people's shirt around the field. You just can't do it. And that's a foul in midfield. It's a foul in the box as well. The other thing I would tell you is that you got to look, when you evaluate the pulling of the jersey, you got to know exactly where that pull is coming from. And it comes from the fact that Lenglet initially loses Sergio Ramos in the play. And because he's losing Sergio Ramos and he can't quite locate him, he's now swimming. He's now looking for anything that he can grab onto because he wants to keep Sergio Ramos at an arm's length from him. Okay, in doing that, once he's kind of looking for Sergio Ramos and he can't search for him and he's now grabbed him, it's because the ball is now played behind Lenglet, and since he lost Sergio Ramos initially and he's now swimming and he's now desperate, he's now a little panicky. That's when he grabs the jersey. That's when he pulls. He's out of position. The ball is behind him. He's going to Sergio Ramos. What can I tell you? You look at the VAR replay and you have to say, how is that not a penalty? Of course it is a penalty.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.